on the windscreen of the old bomb truck. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAT Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. Area 51's over there. Bomb truck's right there. But I'm not working on either of those today. As you've probably seen from the thumbnail, I've got to make a sign with paint and wood, not plastic and stickers. Okay, so let's get at it. Okay, so mind all the birds tweeting. It's spring here in New Zealand. I've got to make a sign for our shop. I've been meaning to do it for about 3 years, maybe 4. I've got a couple of big poles, or we've got a couple of big poles that put in at the shop that I've got to put a sign in between. And I thought I would just do it all old school because our shop's called Heritage Tattoo, right? So I would do the sign out of plywood rather than the stuff that everyone's using these days, that plastic, aluminium, sheathed, pre-painted stuff, which would be heaps easier. I understand that. Back in the day, like when I did my apprenticeship, we used to use a product called Sign Ply, and it had a kind of like laminated coating on it, so you didn't have any grain issues. It held up for years, but I can't get that anymore because nobody does it this way anymore here in New Zealand, so nobody supplies Sign Ply locally that I know of anyway. I rang around a few months ago, couldn't find anything. So gonna go right back to the roots and prep up this piece of ply, cut a bit of a shape in that in it, and paint it, and then I'll hand letter it as well. I could do it in vinyl lettering, it'd be quicker, easier, but there's nothing in that for me, so I want to keep my hand in it. Although I don't sign right much these days, I still like to sort of do a little bit of lettering every once in the blue moon. So we're gonna set about laying this out. Well, I'm gonna do some jigsawing and cut a bit of shape into the top of this, and then we'll set about prepping it up, getting it underway. Okay, so I've already measured my center. This isn't actually quite true square, this piece of ply. It's about 5 millimeters, or just under a 1/4 inch narrower here, and I measured between our poles and I've got exactly 1200, so this will give me a little bit of wiggle room. Hopefully there's no deviations in the poles. I did measure in a couple of places, but yeah, I'm just going to chuck a little bit of masking paper on here. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but look, so that's all. So I've got to cut that off anyway. I was going to do this anyway, but that just kind of confirmed my decision. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to draw on my plan for what I'm going to cut out of the top, so I can cut these top corners and that out, and see what we can come up with. And then I'm doing it on one side, that way I can transfer it over to the other and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Something like that. We can do some sort of scrolly thing inside here. Just like that, that'll do us. Right, next I've got to transfer that onto my board and transfer it over onto the other side. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can do this. One is like use a pounce wheel, which will, you know, run it over your line and it'll make heaps of little pinholes and stuff. Two is you can use like Sable paper, which is like a transfer paper. I think the black stuff is carbon. I don't know actually what it is. I haven't really used this much because it wasn't really around when I sort of got into the game as such. And the other way is to use a piece of charcoal or a soft leaded pencil and sort of scribble over the back like that. And then I've already held it up against the window and traced my line across onto there. Look at that. Just tape that up on there. The reason I'm not using the pounce wheel is because I forgot to buy some powder, chalk powder. When I was out buying this, I didn't write a list, you see, and that's why I forget. Anyway, so then you just go over the top of your line, kind of put a little bit of pressure in that, and this will get you a faint sort of impression onto the board. Like so, and then there's my line. See? Now I just have to do that again on this side. Just like that. So that should be all roughly around the same, hopefully. 25, 25, 25. Close enough. Close enough, she'll be right size. Right, so now we've just got to cut that out. So I need a jigsaw. Hopefully my jigsaw still works. I haven't used it for a long time and it was pretty marginal even back then. So let's get some sawhorses and some power tools. Oh, round corners. Going to round those corners as well. Okay, so my little XU1 jigsaw, it's got some screws missing and it doesn't run on its little roller all that well, but we got the job done. So I don't know where this came from actually. I used to have a Black & Decker one which was okay. Maybe that died and I bought that or something, I don't know. Don't use it all that often because it, you know, problematic. I should get another one, but anyway, I didn't notice that actually. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I have to maybe trim that back and fill it. That's all cut. It all just needs to have a bit of a sand the edge and figure out what I'm going to do with that. Didn't notice that when I looked at the sheets. I might trim all that back and then yeah, I have to tidy that up somehow. I need a sharp thing, a nippy, one of them. Okay, so wasn't really expecting to do this. I'll better check the other side, see what that's like, but I'm just kind of going to flick up all this loose bit of ply, unfortunately. It's delaminated, whatever. And I'll just trim it back to somewhere where it's not letting go. And then we might have to do some body work on it. Oh, that went a bit further back than I thought it was going to. Yeah, see, look at that. Bloody rubbish. Fucking ma, Dad would have sent that one back. Just quality control, it's just not there anymore. Anyway, I'll carry on tidying that up, and then the other side feels alright, but I'll go and check around all the edges now that I'm concerned about it, and see, I have to put a little bit of builder's bog in that. Okay, so just seems to be that one edge, so I've just kind of flaked it back to there. I'm just going to mix up a little bit of fill that a little bit. I'll just use, got some turbo somewhere. This, oh, it's my paint. Got all my paint sort of hidden away in here now, but I've just got to dig in here and see if I can find. I don't know what I've done with it. Is it in there? I don't know. Be back. How's it going? I just had some of this old, it's actually a automotive stuff, but it's just some cheap shit that I got from a local shop ages ago, and it's going a bit, I opened it up and it was pretty rank, so I'm just using that rather than my good stuff that I'm using on the Area 51 project. So I'll leave that to go off, and while that's going off, I'll go and sand my edges. Okay, so back in the day, like when I was an apprentice and even in, you know, as a tradesman and stuff, we would have, you know, rolled these with a foam roller and undercoat stuff. A bit like the chalk, I forgot to buy a roller to roll these, and I kind of want to get both sides undercoated in one day, so I'm going to hang it up to paint it. So I'll hang it from the bottom, because I'm going to put some holes in here to do this painting process, and I don't want the holes kind of exposed to the elements, even though I'll seal them up before the sign gets put up. I don't want to kind of hang it from the top, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to screw a couple of hooks in there, and hopefully they've got enough onions to hold their own weight. And I've just got to try and pull my britches up. I don't know what it is like. All my pants fall down all the time. It's terrible. Oh, there's my knees. Yeah. Two. Alright, need to find some string or rope or something to hang this up. Okay, so seems to be supporting its own weight. Those like ugly bits, I left that a little bit higher than the rest of it, just to kind of like left it a bit built up, so you might be able to see it. Doesn't matter. And I gave it a bit of a whiz over just with some worn out 150 as well, just to take some of the fuzzy off the new wood, if you know what I mean. So we're going to be using oil base, not that. This is a New Zealand paint resin wood primer, general purpose, but it's oil base. I'm gonna spray it because I want to do both sides. I haven't got a roller, and it'll be a pain in the ass trying to brush it when it's swinging around in the breeze like that. So haven't sprayed any oil based products for other than rattle cans. I'm saying maybe 20, maybe close to 30 years. So this will be a little either a lesson in how not to do it, or a bit of a blast from the past, actually spraying something like this. Says here something about brush or roller and shit. Doesn't say nothing about spraying, but I'm sure you can. Like, it's just primer, right? But anyway, I've got to find a spray gun that I want to use that in, so I'm going to go for a siphon fed old school spray gun. I know in some parts of America you can't use those anymore. They haven't caught up to that kind of shit over here yet, so we can still buy them and still use them, but professional shops don't use them at all. Like, they use like all the good shit like Devil Bliss and all that kind of stuff. So, but for what I'm doing, an old school kind of spray gun is kind of what I know and what I'm gonna use. And hopefully it all works. So I'll get this sorted. I'll go and find a spray gun. Okay, so just open up this can of primer. I've just been over and given a bit of a open with that and dusted it off. It smells like wood. It smells a little bit different to usual. I haven't used this resin stuff before. Give it a good stir. Don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf. Now I'm going to try this straight out of the can, just because it'll be thicker. I'll do a little bit of a test spray on the old tank zinc box and just see what it does. And I've never used a spray gun before, just for good measure. This is another spray gun that was given to me by a mate of mine. He bought it new, lent it to another mate of his who used it once, and it came back kind of like this. So we'll see how it goes. Just move my ear line. Nothing. Nothing's blocked. Oh, might be that actually. Okay, got a bit of welding wire. Yeah, that's clear. Okay, probably should have put some thinners or something in this first. Just maybe blown it through like that. It's spitting it a little bit out, but not much. It may just be a little bit too thick. I am getting paint out of it, but give that a try. Okay, so just thinning it out just a little bit more. One more try. Yeah. Okay, probably be alright for primer, but if I'm going to spray anything else with this, I'm going to tear it right down, soak it, and clean it all out because the trigger's not releasing quite properly. And such, but it squirts paint, so let's go and squirt some paint. Okay, so struggled to squirt some paint with that blue spray gun on this side. I know this is like a kind of this is kind of like a what do you call it, continuing saga of Dave messing around with crappy spray guns that get given to him and trying to make them work. So I switched to that red one, which is just a little cheapy, and I know it actually does spray okay. So while I'm waiting for that to kind of go off enough that I can give it a second coat, which probably be about an hour of today's temperature, I'll clean out that other one, strip it down, get that soaking, and I'll try it again on something else another day. Maybe not this particular project, but you know, something else. Let's watch we'll watch some paint dry. Well, no, I'm not going to watch paint dry. We're going to play with spray guns while paint is drying a bit. Okay, so update on the blue spray gun. In the bin. Junk. Not serviceable. Tried to sort of strip it apart and it just stripped everything, and it was just like, why am I wasting my time on this thing? It doesn't owe me anything. It probably could have been brought back around, but far out. I don't need it, you know. I mean, my brother-in-law sent me a picture of a spray gun that he bought for $15 brand new, and he said the spray's great. So, and that's just, you know, like he said, you don't even have to clean it out for that kind of money. So yeah, I'm not gonna persist with it. There it lies, its final resting place in the bin. So still waiting for paint to dry. Okay, still waiting for paint to dry, but what I thought I'd show you while we're here is when to recoat it. We got fluff and little midgies in here already. Awesome. But you can see, probably try and get into the right light. It's probably the shiny bit here where it's kind of an uneven spray pattern. If you kind of put your finger, you know, just touch your finger to the back of it, it's still pulling some off. It's still too wet, so it's been about half an hour, I guess. So probably give that another, you know, half an hour or so, and that should be like, if I can touch my back of my finger to that and it doesn't pull off any paint, that should be ready to hit the second coat. Same sort of thing applies when if you're spraying, you know, this type of enamel, like oil based. In the summer, usually about 40 minutes. In the winter, usually about an hour, unless you've got like winter thinners, but it's probably not even a thing anymore. We used to use winter thinners when we were spraying it in the winter. Another thing to keep in mind is it stays wet in the air for ages, floats around all over the place, sticks to everything, dries on everything. So don't spray it around when you've got like nice shiny shit in your garage or your shed or your workshop or whatever that you want to keep clean, you know, because yeah, it dusts everything, and that dust that's overspray just sticks and dries. It sticks to everything. But I'm alright in here. Area 51. So you should be all good. What's happening up that front there? Oh, I might actually should pay a bit more. There's so much dust on the front end of this thing anyway that it probably won't, you know, overspray wouldn't stick to it anyways. About ready to go, I reckon. So even if she's not, she's getting it. Okay, so that's kind of step one done. So we'll just have to leave that to dry until it's ready to sand and paint. So till tomorrow, the next day, or the day after that, or some day in the future where we do that. Okay, see you then. How's that for planning? Thinking, eh? Thinking. Okay, so just giving it a bit of a block down. As you know, I was going to spray this, but I figured, well, today's Wednesday sort of thing. I'll just come down after work each night and do a coat on one side. So I'll probably get more shit landing in the paint, but that's alright. It's going to be a sign up on some poles, and it's enamel paint. Always get shit in the paint anyway, and I'm in my garage. We always get shit in the paint. So I just got to dust that off, tack it off, and I'm just gonna, I still haven't got any rollers, I don't think. I was just gonna brush it and lay it off and kind of show you how I was taught how to lay off enamel paint, which means kind of spread it out, flatten it down, you know what I'm saying? Right, so take rag and dusting off stuff. Tack rag. Okay, tack ragged. If you don't know what a tack rag is, it's like a rag and it's tacky. Kind of self-explanatory, if you know what I mean. And that just helps kind of pick up any dust that's on the surface of your board or surfacey thing. I broke my little tripod-y thing, but that could be alright. We're using some Wattle Master enamel. Master. Old butter knife. Good for opening tin. Give it a good stir. It'll work out of there. Might tip some into this old tomato tin. Okay, so you probably, if you've been paying attention, have noticed that I've been kind of working, started there, moved up there, moved back, going kind of keeping the whole board going, as you say, because if you just kind of start in one corner and work your way around in circles and stuff, the oil-based paint starts going what we used to call ropey, which means it starts kind of going off and it gets hard to lay off. So what I sort of tend to do when I'm painting something like this, and I should do it when I'm spraying stuff as well, is kind of have a plan of attack. So I always like start in one corner and kind of work kind of out, come back, move around to keep a wet edge going, if that makes sense. And then you kind of, like I poured it on there, and that was actually gets it on a bit too heavy for my liking, so I've stopped doing that on the second half of the board. I go spread it out, you know, in 90-degree directions sort of thing, and then the laying off part. Now this is the magic, is just a real light touch. You just gently go over your last kind of direction there, just lightly, and that helps to eliminate some, not all, of your brush marks. You know, you always get some kind of brush markage, but it just really sort of depends on the paint, the brand, if you know what I'm saying, how well it flows. Some oil base flows real nice, some not so much. Water-based enamels don't really flow much at all. They're better than they were, but they're still not great. They go off so much quicker, which means they dry quick, you know. Whereas this will take a good 12 hours for it to kind of go off properly. Less in the sun, less if it's you know, just a hot day. And yeah, so you can see there's dust and shit in the paint already if you've been paying attention to that as well, but that's alright. Okay, so there we have it. That's that coat down. As you see, there's like heaps of texture and stuff going on in there. That's authentic as. So it's plywood. Don't get it wrong. It's not going to be like some composite material, ACM, aluminium composite material. That's the stuff I was trying to think of before. Have I got any around here? I got some offcuts of it kicking around, but of white stuff. But yeah, so enamel or oil-based paint like this, what am I standing on? A leaf. Dries through oxidation, so it's oxidizing, so it's kind of constantly drying, and that's why it goes chalky over time and stuff like that, or can do. So with that being said, I'm just going to leave my brush in a container of water where the oxygen can't get to it, so tomorrow I can come out, give it a kind of good brush out, rinse it out sort of thing. I'm not really going to rinse it out, I'll squeeze it out with a rag, and then I'll just brush it out against something, and that'll get the water out of it. The water won't really get into it, it'll be around the outside, but it stops the air getting to it, which stops it oxidizing, drying through oxidation. What the hell? Oh, I thought, what's happened there? And then it's like, it's light. I thought it was some kind of weird reaction that I was going to have to try and make up a bullshit explanation for. But yeah, anyway, till tomorrow, we'll leave that and come back. Yep, sweet. Little moth did a little bit of backstroke in there, so yeah, it'll come off, hopefully. Okay, so that's side 2 with a coat of black on it. Hopefully it's not too soft for me to have flipped it over, and hopefully I don't leave big track marks from this panel stand on the other side. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it's like when it dries. So till tomorrow, the next day. What's today? Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I was hoping Saturday to be able to start laying this out and lettering it. Might not happen yet. Might just be flipping it over, giving it another coat of paint. But we'll definitely leave it for a couple of days, because if we hit it too early, that's when you get that kind of crocodiling and stuff. If it's too soft and you try to recoat it, it kind of, we called it crocodiling, you know, it goes all wrinkly and stuff. So till then. Hey guys, okay, so it's a couple of days later. My board's all dry. I've just been, you know, doing a simple kind of little filigree kind of border thing for the top, just for a little bit of decoration. And I've made up a tracing for all the lettering that's going on it. My tape not sticking. This looks like I've cobbled together tracing, because it is. This logo stuff, all this lettering was already kind of designed on an Adobe Illustrator, and so it's just a case of kind of printing it out. But my printer here at home, I could have done it on my plotter, but my plotter's buried in the back room through here over there, and I normally use that bench to kind of organize stuff like that, but it's kind of a mess in there, so I just went just straight to my little home printer, which can print A3, but I just printed it all out in A4 and then just, you know, sticky taped it together. And yeah, so that's just got to be chalked up. I was going to do the pounce wheel, pounce bag kind of setup on it, but I'm only doing this twice, so I'm just going to, you know, do the old rub chalk or use the Sorel paper. I'll probably just use chalk. The Sorel paper, I actually kind of find it a bit of a pain, because, yeah, you're working with another layer of paper. So I'll just chalk the back of that and transfer it onto that. Same with this. I can now, you know, chalk the back of that and transfer it onto both sides, and then see about doing some painting. So I've lost my panel stand for use at the moment, because I've got a very shiny, scary Ford tailgate here. I've got to recreate some a little bit of sort of sign writing on the top corner and a little pinstripe in it for a friend. Yeah, that might be a later video, but I've got to find somewhere to put that safe that it just gives me the willies having something so nicely painted in my garage. It's like, I don't know what to do with it. I'll find somewhere to kind of put that. Yeah, okay. Just rubbed chalk all over the back of it, and thought I'd run out of chalk. I need to go and buy some materials, man. But that's roughly where it's gonna sit. You know, we're gonna have a bit of a border around the outside of it as well, so I'm just kind of like holding it up there to get a rough thing. So I'll take some measurements now, and then I'll take that off and rule some lines on there, just to make sure I can square it all up and get it all correct, and then transfer it to the other side. Yeah, makes sense? Okay. I'll just do a measure of that. That's 889, so roughly 889. So we'll just split that over, so that's 450, so I'll just even that out on both sides. So 450 is right on the thing, so that's my centre. I'm using a Vondago pen that he sent me when I ordered some stuff. No special treatment or anything, he just sends out gifts. And I'm going to measure up 135, which in imperial terms is like 5 7/16 of 18 of a fraction. I don't know how you guys do it with that imperial stuff. You know, kind of like, I guess if you grew up with it, it makes sense. I've kind of got like a half and half thing. Some stuff we work in imperial, other stuff we work in purely metric, and yeah, measuring stuff like this makes more sense to me in metric than the other way, the imperial way. There you go. Okay, so I gotta rule a line across the bottom, then I can take that on. Yeah? Alright. So 135 I said, eh? Put a couple more marks. I've already put a couple on the ends, but I'll do a couple more just to, because I have been known to do things like do one at 135 and then one at 130 and stuff like that. And by doing more than 2 marks, it tells you instantly if one of them is wrong. Yeah? I'm using a Lumnicolor pencil, one of them. Okay, need some more tape. Bring this down. I don't know if I put the centre on down the bottom. Oh yeah, that's it there I think. Check it the other way. Yep, close enough. That should be about right, but 640. Oh yeah, that looks about good. Yeah? Yeah, so that should be about right throughout all of that. There is a little bit of deviation from me taping this whole thing together. I tried, I did, to get it all right. So what I'll do is I'll square up my horizontal lines, you know, as we go. Yep. Right there. Yep. Now if I was just doing like a single-sided one-off sign like this, you know, I probably wouldn't make tracing like that. I would more than likely just a scale kind of drawing and then just roll it up, draw it on with the old roll it up and draw it on with the old kind of white Chinagraph pencil, and yeah, that would kind of be all I would do. Just draw it on, paint it on, done. Whereas in this situation, I've got to do it twice, so that's why I've made the tracing sort of thing. Yeah, okay. So now I've just got to go get a pen and a ruler, just draw over the top of all of that, and hopefully I got chalk everywhere it needed to be, and it'll transfer it onto the black. Yeah. Okay, so that's that all traced over. Hopefully, magnet thing's hooked onto a chain. Yeah, so hopefully I got chalk in all the right places on the back of that. We'll soon find out. Yeah, but yeah, just used my old little plastic speed square to kind of rule those shorter lines in. You don't have to use a speed square, you can use just a normal ruler if you want. You don't even have to use a freaky little brush pen from Bondago brushes. You can just use a pencil or a normal pen. Yeah? Okay, so let's peel this off. And then we have to flip it around and do it again. I might do the scrolly stuff on there first. There we go. That's all pretty much on there. Cool. Sweet. Actually got slightly better coverage on the old chalk than I thought I was going to need, to be honest. Yep. Right, I need 2 hands. Just do the old chalk rub on the back of this. Talk over this side. Get the light come back on. So rinsed and repeated with that. So that's that side kind of laid out, other than I'm going to put a border of some sort around down the sides and across the bottom, maybe, probably. So what I'll do now is turn it around and lay out all the other sides so it's all ready to go, and then I'll be back. Yeah. Alright, side 2's marked out. Just going to put a little bit of this yellow tape top and bottom of each line, like so. Moved a little bit there, right. Back again, back through you went flat, you know, usual story. But just putting a bit of tape, top and bottom, just sort of rubbing it down where the letters are. So, you know, just it speeds things up a little bit when you come to lettering. You don't have to do this, some guys don't. On bigger stuff, I tend to not bother, like bigger, fatter letters sort of thing, but I don't know, like rough walls, shit like that, you can't do it on, so you just got to do it all with the brush. Whoop. Did it again. This is like a low tack sort of tape, which is quite good because it reduces the risk of you pulling the board paint off. This easel's moving around a fair bit, which is a bit of a pain. It would be good if I had a wall mounted easel kind of like on this wall here, like, you know, I used to have up until about 2 weeks ago, but wasn't really using it, so I thought, oh, I'll move that, get rid of it, and then next minute got some signs to do. Okay, so you might be wondering what all this is about on these bottom rows here, and why I didn't run a tape line across the 832. And that's because the round letters, like the top of the A, the C, the O, what else we got? Top of the A, O. Yeah, they, in the top and bottom of the C, they actually ascend and descend the line by just a little bit. So not all letter styles do that, but most do. Well, a lot do. Whereas on the Heritage, the G doesn't. On the Tattoo, the O's don't. It just depends on the style, but most of the time it's because if you don't, the O's, the round letters can end up looking too small. It's weird, I know, whereas these are kind of a squarer letter. It works all right. But anyway, let's get ready to do some paint, and hopefully I can remember how. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start painting. So it's been a while. Got some of this gloss white enamel. It's just some cheapy stuff from the small job section of the old hardware store. I have got some one-shot white, but I wanted to kind of try this, just a normal gloss white enamel, because it's what we used to always use. We never used to have access to like one shot and stuff here in New Zealand. The stuff I have got, I bought from a guy who was bringing it in from down in the South Island, but he's gone now. So there's a couple of places you can get it from, but you have to send away for it, so that's a bit of a pain. But I do like the one shot generally. This stuff feels quite thin, but if I have to give it 2 coats, that's fine. I'll just give it 2 coats. Yeah, she is quite a thin, but so I'll try it straight out of the pot. I won't thin it. I'm going to use a couple of brushes here. I'll use that for the smaller stuff in the Heritage, and I'll use that. It's a number 10 long head Sable, both pure Sable brushes. This is an old Hayden series that I've had since I was about 16, and this is a AS Handover. Sable chisel writer, which I bought either late last year or earlier this year. Just got a bit of neat's foot oil in them that I've got to clean out. I have always used, well not always, but mostly used neat's foot oil to oil my lettering brushes and pinstriping brushes. People use all sorts of different things. Neat's foot oil, neat's foot. It's weird, I know. They use it in saddlery stuff for like conditioning leather and shit like that. I don't know what it's made of, but I ran out and it took me a while to find some more. So I got a whopping great big bottle, which will probably see out my lifetime. I have used Vaseline. I didn't really like that. I don't know, there's something about it that I didn't really kind of feel right with. So I went and found some neat's foot oil. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I need my maul stick. My maul stick, that's right, I made a little hook for it. Oh shit, my old tape's getting a bit rumpy on the end there. This might be right. Let's get at it. Okay, so first pass on that, you know, there's a few wiggly bits in that. My whole board's kind of bouncing a bit on that easel, but it is what it is. It'll be alright. It's like up high enough that it's not going to matter. Summary on this enamel so far, it's really smooth and it flows really nice. Probably feels like it's smoother than the one-shot white, but it definitely doesn't cover as well as the one-shot white does, if you know what I mean. So it'll get a quick second coat once it's all dry. That's all right. That's fairly normal. It kind of runs comparable to other enamel whites that I've used that aren't like specifically Signwriting whites. So yeah, so I'll carry on. power starts. Okay, so made a mistake. Did it all upside down. Corny dad joke, yeah I know. Okay, so that's side one, first coat. All the white's gonna need a second coat, the burgundy kind of colour, that's gonna be alright. In theory, that reddy kind of colour should have a second coat because it's gonna be weaker UV wise, but not that fussed about it. The plywood will probably break down before that paint does, very likely. But yeah, first coat down, one side. So I'm just going to roll ahead, get the other side done, and it'll look hopefully kind of like that one. Yeah, cool. Side two done, first coat. Needs to be second coated yet, but anyway, I didn't sort of explain something I did earlier with the scrolly stuff up the top. I've grabbed this one here. I pulled out this is number 6 pointed writer, which I bought about the same time I bought those, which is just a chisel kind of pure Sable writer, like Signwriting brush. I haven't used those pointed ones before, and I kind of was expecting it to get to a sharper point as I kind of tape it off, a bit more like a scroller or something like that. I don't know like the terminology that well for all the fancy pinstriping brushes and stuff. I just kind of pick them up and play with them, and if it does what I want it to do, then it does what I want it to do, you know. Yeah, it didn't really get, it was good for some stuff, but not some of the stuff that I wanted it to do. I just wanted to get it to have it taper out to a real fine point, but it didn't quite do that. I probably was using the wrong sized brush for trying to do what I was doing, but gave it a shot anyway. So it's still nice brush though for what I got it to do nicely. It was cool, you know. Might just take a bit more practice. You know, as I said, it's the first time I've actually sort of dipped it in paint and tried to do something with it. Might just need a bit of breaking in, you just don't know. And this is a good enough sort of task to try and break it in on. You've managed to scratch the board up the top there already, so but yeah, so I just got to let all that kind of dry off, and then I can second coat it all maybe tomorrow if I've got time. There is a car event that I'm supposed or should really go to tomorrow, but time, man, time. So anyway, that's enough for today. I've got to clean out all my brushes and oil them up, and so they're all good to go for the next time. Hey guys, so next day, just got to do some second coating on all this white. I won't second coat the burgundy bit, but went out this morning to a small kind of charity kind of car show here in Tauranga that was put on by the Oilers Hot Rod Club, which is a kind of, it's growing a bit, this club. It's started small, now they're kind of getting a few members, and it was raising money for a animal rescue, so yeah, it's quite cool. Took the old bomb truck in its kind of dirty, dusty attire as usual, and yeah, I was kind of like standing there having a yarn to some folk, and a guy came up and put this on the windscreen of the old bomb truck, you know. So I was like, oh, what's going on? Am I going in the running for best paint or dustiest steely wheels or something like that, you know? And so I kind of hung around for the prize giving, because, you know, I was curious, and I got this. The bomb truck won best hot rod. How about it? How about that, eh? I've actually never really won an award for any of my cars before, let alone kind of like peeping, I don't know what, you know, like just like peeking out there's some pretty serious hot rods there, supercharged units and well finished and shiny and pretty and glittery and sparkly. And then we have the old bomb truck, which was, you know, I just drove it out of the garage. It's got overspray on it, it's got bog dust on it. I did like no prep, no tyre shine, dusty wheels, dusty battery box, dusty guards, dusty bonnet, watermarks, primer, rust, and dust and dirt and grime, shit in the back from when I went to the tip the other day, and it won best hot rod. So whoever was doing the judging, yeah, got a good sense of humour. But no, it was cool to actually kind of win something for a change. Well, I mean, I don't really care, to be honest, but it was, I just thought it was really funny that the old bomb truck beat out a bunch of really nicely presented, stunning cars. So whoever was doing the judging must have just had a bit of an affinity for a grubby little work truck. So, done. Anyway, enough grandstanding. You know, I'm not a car show kind of like trophy hunter kind of guy, so, but got to get back on, second coat all of this white on here, and I suppose I should get a trophy cabinet, eh? Yeah, it might be a thing now, a trophy cabinet. Might just put it in the middle of the lounge or something. But anyway, get on some second coating. Probably should get a trophy cabinet because the Oilers charity auction hot rod show is kind of like the Bay of Plenty's SEMA, you know, like pretty big deal. Pretty up there. I'm just kidding, really. Done. So do you think I should get a an enclosed trailer for my show truck? Then I'll need a tow vehicle for my show truck, like maybe like a big GMC or something like that. Fifth wheel maybe. Anyway, enough wanking on about my show truck. All second coated. I dusted off all the chalk and the pencil marks and stuff before I second coated, so I've done both sides, and so that's that sign done. I've just got to go and put it up. So I'll let that kind of dry off and harden up before I go and do that. Using this cheapy white sort of thing, I was kind of quite pleasantly surprised with how nice it is to use, but it's just a bit thin, so the coverage was kind of pretty average and whatnot. Well, something we used to do, and I didn't do it on this because I just wanted to see how well it would cover on its own, is that you can chuck a little bit of black in there and just grey it up slightly and you get slightly better coverage, you know, like opacity sort of thing. And I also spoke to a guy years and years ago when I was an apprentice, and he used in his shop like a metallic silver, aluminium based silver sort of thing, so that kind of helped with the coverage as well, which I've never ever tried, but could be worth something looking into with the old white. But it does grey it up a bit, so it doesn't look, you know, if you put it against true white, it's greyer. Yeah. So yeah, coverage is, you know, still a bit spotty in places, but it's fine for what I want for the sign for the shop. And yeah, so I just got to put it up. So there you are. That's an old school piece of plywood turned into a sign, painted, you know, prepped, painted, and sign written. You could put more prep into that with more primer and really smooth it out, but there wasn't a lot of grain on the faces of this plywood, so that was quite good. And more coats of paint, basically. I ended up only just doing the one coat of black on this. It's not going to last a long time, especially in our climate. Our sun is pretty punishing on things outside, and especially being black, probably a mistake. But again, it gets us a sign up out there, and we've got a pretty captive audience right at those traffic lights where it's going to go. Not that I've showed you that, but that doesn't really matter. And yeah, so there we have it. Sign, painted, and sign written and stuff. And that's kind of how I would do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's plenty of sign writing and pinstriping experts out there who have different ways of doing things, and that's fine. So if you've got your own way of doing your prep and procedures and the brushes you use and stuff like that, that's all good. You do you. But this is how I did it. You guys might find it interesting, you might not. So if you're still here watching at this point, as always, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, share, comment down below in the comments box. And until next time, take it easy and peace.